And happy Friday, PSWs and friends across Ontario and Canada. Welcome to PSW Podcast, where we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of the personal support worker field and Ontario healthcare in general. My name is Miranda and I'm the CEO of the Ontario PSW Association, host a PSW podcast. And I'm joined again by my co-host, Ian De Silva, who is Chief Operating Officer of the association as well. So we're here today to talk about something a bit different, something that we've never really touched on as an association, but we thought the timing was right to touch on this particular topic. Right, Ian?
Absolutely. So yeah.
We're going to be talking about developmental care centers. So these are day centers that cater to either youth or young adult or adults who have neurodiverse issues, developmental issues or disabilities, and where they can go for the day in order to give respite to their loved ones. And so we're going to be talking about these homes because we've had a lot of really interesting conversations, a lot of really interesting emails in regards to these homes because I think it's something that not a lot of people know about.
No, they don't. They don't at all. I think there's so much focus on. Well, let's start at the beginning. Why do you think, Marina, this is like, what are the issues that you've identified in the last little while?
What I've
Since
identified in the last little while is that a lot of these places, these centers, they don't, unless you're 18 and under. So let me point that out. So if you're 18 years of age and under, primarily these centers do have people that are, child and youth workers. They have developmental support workers or service workers. They have some have PSWs. They have behavioral therapists. They have all these, titles in these places working with these children.
yeah,
Once these individuals turn 18 and go out into these communities and into these centers themselves, um, the sad thing is the majority of these centers don't necessarily hire personal support workers or DSWs or
so
whomever.
just one quick question. So we're talking about the centers that cater to adults that are over 18, that are dealing with adults with developmental challenges, special needs challenges that are really not fitting into any sort of support system within the existing provincial
Yeah,
supports.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And very specific too. Like, so for transparency, the reason why we're talking about this because it became an issue for the association is because in my personal life, my husband and myself, because we have a son who is in his 20s and he has autism, and we've seen the need for a center like this in my region. I'm in Cambridge, and we opened a center called Open Minds Cambridge. That some of you guys might be familiar with. And we do cater to these individuals, and we do have clients that come in, and through conversations with families and so on and so forth, we've really been able to establish this issue. It is, and because one of the biggest things that I found when these families were coming in here, so my center, as you guys probably already figure, is PSW led. Everybody that works here is a personal support worker. They're members of the association. They're insured. They're verified. They have training, ongoing training in order to work with these individuals. And we can take complex care individuals. And we've had so many families that didn't, number one, realize PSWs could work in this space, which is an issue because
Yep.
PSWs very much can work in this space. And my answer to them is always, well, activities of daily living don't start when you turn 80.
No.
Like it's PSWs deal with this from birth all the way to death. You know what I mean? Like if we
Sure.
don't have an age limit on who we deal with. But then listening to and people from out of my region as well that reached out and had questions or whatever, because we do some online programming, and they didn't realize that people had to have some form of training in order to work with these individuals. And I remember when someone asked me that, and I went, well, what do you mean?
Mean.
Like, that they have to. I said, yeah. He said you should have people working with your young adult child, that knows what the hell they're doing, number one,
Yeah.
and has some knowledge surrounding this. And she goes, no, I don't think that any of them are trained. And then I started doing some digging, and I realized that a lot of these centers just hire anybody to work with these individuals.
But these individuals that are going to these centers that don't have actual trained individuals, are they still using passport funding to do that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my program is a passport, is recognized by Passport. We are I can't call it an agency of Passport, but we work with Passport. And
That
so
path for clients is what you
yeah,
do.
that we have clients that have Passport, and we also have clients that are private pay.
Right. So I mean, but this is what it seems like once someone turns 18, regardless of special needs, you get passport funding and the government's like you're on your own. Is that correct?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty
I mean,
much,
there
yeah.
are there are some great programs out there, like here in Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge area. We have Sunbeam. Sunbeam is fantastic. They do work with, like, through the government. They do work with a lot of these families and try to assist them and find them places to go. And Sunbeam has sent us a lot of clients that are funded through Extend Family.
Yep.
So there's a lot of different elements to this. But my biggest concern is seeing the clients that are coming through the doors, witnessing a lot. I don't work on the floor, obviously. I'm here in the office. I have a fantastic GM who's a PSW named Danielle, and she's the one who organizes our direct support workers and our PSWs to work with these individuals. These individuals are high care. And a lot of the ones that we get are one on one. And I think to myself, so what's happening at these other centers?
Well, one doesn't know. What? Let's. Sorry. Go ahead. I have a thought
No,
after.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say that from one parent, out of one of our clients we just received, and I think he's 24 years old, anyways, and he's nonverbal, and all he does is pace all day, and he's wonderful, by the way, wonderful personality. But she was telling me that in his last center that he went to, they segregated him, and then it reminded me of when my son, we put him into a center as well. Oh gosh, when was it, Ian? 5, 6 years ago or something like that.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, and they also segregated him because he was too high functioning. They put him in a room with his computer and his headphones all day and did nothing with him. And a big part of these programs are life skills, and even if they can't communicate, you can still do stuff with them.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and you see that it's exactly because this is an example of what happens when there's absolutely no plan in place for these individuals, and you have people just, and again, a lot of these individuals, they're probably well-meaning. The goals are well-meaning, but without the trained staff, that is become, what they say, the road to good in that road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's kind
Yeah.
of that idea that you have when, okay, so we're going to try a community group and we're just going to hire people in the community to support them. Well-meaning, well-intentioned, not necessarily the best options. It says,
Scares me, but then it also takes away options from families.
well, it does that, yes. But it also is a testament to the absence of any sort of planning because like it's such a quagmire. And it's amazing how like some families are determined. My children are staying here and I'm going to be sending them to day centers and they're coming here every day. I don't want the group home setting for them. I want this setting. So I totally respect that very much and understand that feeling.
Well,
And
yeah, I mean, you have a huge history of working in this field as
yeah,
HR
well,
and,
yeah,
and
this is
seeing.
yeah. So I mean, my experience traditionally comes from well, group home staffing, and using that area, and that was a little bit different because you have a per diem. It's a little bit more aggressive financing from the government for the individuals that, for example, the employer I worked with that was dealing with. Um, but it's that gap area. It's like, what do you do when? And if you don't have trained people coming in there, what is the risk exposure to those individuals? What damages are you causing, however unintentional?
But then also too, where is the respite for the families? So I'll tell a little story. We
Yeah.
do PD day camps, right? Where we take ages 7 and up for these PD day camps, and we take complex care needs. And
Mhm.
we had a woman who had two children, one in a wheelchair, one was not, but one was on a feeding tube, the one in the wheelchair, and they both had epilepsy, nonverbal, and they are autism, obviously. And this individual, like this woman, kept saying to my GM, she was like, are you sure? Like they're high needs, high needs. And Danielle's like, of course. Like, that's not a problem. We just need you to show us how to do it and sign off on a delegation task. And she went, oh my God, you mean PSWs can do feeding tubes? She goes, yes. I mean, and thank God for Danielle, because Danielle has copious amounts of training in that area because she
Yeah.
worked in this world for so long and was able to teach the other staff and so on and so forth. And it worked out great. But when the woman picked up her two children, her and her husband, they said that was the first time since the kids were born that they had a day off. Wow.
Wow.
Right.
How old are
And
the
and
kids? Sorry,
the
just
the kids were I believe 12 and 14. Yeah. First time that they'd ever had a day off. And we've heard that from a lot of other families where they're like, these, and then also too, we've taken in clients that have been removed from other centers because of their high behaviors or their complex needs. And I say this because we have yet to experience them. So that's an interesting thing. They got rid of this one of our clients because apparently he used to flash everybody. No, it's a tick he has, and he doesn't flash everybody, barely, and he has no behaviors. We have seen no behaviors out of this individual. So to me, that shows the difference between no training and training. And then they'll also say too, some of these centers, they have to be able to toilet themselves. They can't have any outside behaviors. They have to control themselves. I'm thinking, what world are you thinking? Like these centers are for individuals who need that constant one-on-one and that care and that oversight.
Exactly. And that's why like the day centers that when my last employer worked, their day centers were designed for that. They were designed for high needs day centers. It's almost like the centers are trying, they want the individuals to cater to the centers versus the center to cater to the individual, which should be the mentality. And it's like, well, you should be lucky we have this, but you, and how exclusionary is that?
Yeah.
Okay, I get why they do it because it's simply because it's an example. I don't have trained staff. That's what that says. As soon as that's what it says. I think that's exactly it.
So that's exactly what it says to me is I don't have trained staff. We don't have the insurance to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to deal with this. We just want to take the ones that sit in the corner and stare at the wall.
We want a warehousing situation here where basically you store it for your family. Oh, that's harsh. I didn't mean that.
But I mean, it's harsh, but that's kind of how that plays out.
It does,
and
though.
It's disgusting. And then the question, Ian, is where are the oversight over top of these centers?
And let's give a shout out to Journey Center of Grey as well. We're here because there's another example.
Why I opened my center was because of Journey Center of Grey.
That's an excellent program up in the Owen Center. I know they're opening another location. So Natasha, here's a shout out for you. But no, it's an excellent program. But there's an example of a proactive community. It's flourishing because this is supplying a vital need. It can offer the full wraparound care supports that everyone needs in those areas. It's not rocket science. PSWs can do this. Individual PSWs who are out there who are wondering, how can I start?
Just start.
Just start. Well, it's easier said than done. A little.
No, I know. It's easier said than done, but no, but Natasha did. Like Natasha, who's the owner of Journey Center Grey, she just found she lives in Meaford and she found a location and she said to her husband, we're going to do it, and opened it up, and she had clients. And it takes a while to get up on our feet. I mean, we've been open for 6 months here at Open Minds. We're doing relatively well being here for 6 months already, because a lot of this world, the developmental world, is word of mouth, right? Is how you get the clients to come in. But like Natasha has changed people's lives. And I'd like to say we've changed people's lives here already at Open Minds, because these kids, like the parents come and pick them up. And these kids can be anything, by the way, guys, from like 18 to 35. And they come pick up their kids and they are just like so overjoyed with how happy, and they never want to leave.
These aren't kids. These are adults. These are adults. These are adults, not kids. We're so used to dealing with kids, so we bad word. But yeah, their family. The family comes to pick up their family, and they're overjoyed.
They're overjoyed, and they don't want to leave. Like one of our clients, we literally have to walk him out the front door, otherwise he won't leave. And to me, that just shows that what we're doing here is so important. But then it makes me worry, and being an advocate as we are, Ian, already in the healthcare realm of advocating for PSWs and home care and long-term care and in hospitals and all that sort of stuff, and really speaking to the truth of what it's like in the front line. I threw this one in because I'm seeing it, I'm hearing it from families. It's something that I didn't realize. So I will admit that I didn't realize it was to that extent. I kind of did, though, when my son was in the system like that, because I was like, I remember asking them at the center he went to, I was like, so like, how many PSWs do you have on? Oh, no, we don't hire PSWs. They don't do that. And I'm like, okay. So you're speaking to the wrong person about that. And then I said, what about developmental service workers? No, I think maybe we have one. Okay, so then who the hell are all these people standing around then?
Who are they?
They're just like Jeff, your friend that you grew up with down the street. Like, no, it's almost like it drives me I think retirement homes have more training for the UCPs that come up off the streets than these developmental centers. And nobody is talking about it. No one's addressing this issue.
Well, because it's an isolated issue. it impacts, you think one family thinks that they're alone dealing with this, and you realize that no, this is a systemic problem. You're not alone at all. There just simply isn't resources. You're not going crazy. You haven't missed something. There just isn't anything there except for your passport funding and your personal time. And if you need a break, like you just said, 12 years and you never had a day off.
No,
Ha!
no, I know. This woman was, they slept. She said she left with her husband and then they went home and slept for the entire day
That's
and
what
then
my
came. Yeah.
when my friends were new parents, I invited them over and they would come over and go to sleep. They were great guests.
Oh, yeah. But
They're just so tired. They're just to sit there. It's amazing.
now,
Wow.
I mean, I don't understand their level. My son is highly functioning. He now lives with his girlfriend. He doesn't live at home. Like he can actively be a part of society. But when I see these, these wonderful clients that come in here, and I mean, they're some of the nicest, wonderful, their hearts are just gold, these clients. And I think to myself, if you don't have the right workers in place, the right support workers in place, they are easily taken advantage of and they are easily manipulated. And I will never stand for that on any level. And so I think this is an important thing where families of individuals that attend these day centers or day programs, half day programs, PD camps, whatever, ask the questions. Ask
Yeah.
the questions. Ask if they are staffed. Who's on staff? What
Oh,
is their training? You have that right to know that.
look at oh my gosh. They
You
remember
do.
they have the day camp. Oh, I can't remember the name. This escaped me. But they run the day camp. I can't remember the name. It was a charity. Remember, they were a huge charity. They usually hire DSWs to run their summer camps every year. Um,
Easter seals.
Easter Seals. Oh my gosh, thank you. Easter
Yeah.
Seal. Yeah, Easter
Yes.
Seals was running DS. Then they started relying on PSWs to do this came here because they can do the job. So sorry, went off topic
Easter
there.
seals, they're all OPSWA members, which is a fantastic thing as well. And
Yeah.
obviously, every PSW here is an OPSWA member that works for the center, obviously, because of the insurance and so on and so forth. But it it it's interesting now because I know with Natasha and I know with us, people are reaching out more because it's a PSW led center. It stands out from the rest of them. But I mean, like I was saying, if you're a family member, if you're putting your child into these, not child, grown adult, whoever the heck it is, your loved one,
Your
your
family.
family into these day centers, a lot of them are fantastic, but a lot of them aren't. So you need to really pay attention to, who's working the floor, what are they doing with them? Is there programming? Are they doing programming? Are they capable of assisting in the bathroom? Do they know? Because a lot of our clients, thankfully, that they're not a full assist in the bathroom. So, but I mean, our PSWs will go in there and they will either stand at the door or they'll make sure that their incontinence product gets changed out okay. But again, at the same token, if you don't know and don't have the training, then how are you going to notice little things? Like we've had someone with a wee bit of a rash that never would have been noticed. It was just a random person doing it. And maybe would have, but in my mind, no. I mean, and we were able to get, the mother went and got cream and everything. She was like, oh, that's great because apparently this client doesn't let her help him at all. So, it's all about teamwork with the families, with the client, with your coworkers, but it's it's
It can really
also
help
go
de-stress it
ahead.
a bit. It helps to de-stress it a little bit. Like it helps take a little bit of the pressure off. Back to the idea of building the community, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing
Yeah.
the work that you and
You
Tab.
have to. These individuals, they deserve to have a safe place that they can go, and the families can have that peace of mind knowing that their loved ones are being taken care of properly with properly trained and insured staff. That is what this is all about at the end of the day. And so for those developmental centers that are just hiring willy-nilly off the street and not giving proper care and not doing proper programming and not following the basic skill set of humanity, I'm going to
Yeah.
shut you down. That is going to be my
Well,
thing.
or improve or do better, right? Like,
Or
or
reach
do
out to
better.
us, or yeah,
Yeah. Like
exactly. Or reach
or
out to us and we can help you do better. We got to get out of this mindset that you don't have to be anything in order to care for these people, and it's a caregiver role. It's not. Their behaviors are difficult. It's not an easy thing.
No, it's
And
not
I
an
will give that. It's a very hard job
no, it's
in
absolutely
any
hard.
which way, like PSW way, DSW, whatever. It's not easy. And I commend them greatly for working with these individuals. It is not easy. However, if it's just about the money, then you got to get gone because this is healthcare. And these are people.
Well, that's not the intention of Passport. It wasn't designed to set up just to make
Passport's
money.
wonderful. Passport
Yeah,
allows them to go wherever and do
yeah,
whatever
it's
they want,
amazing
and it
program.
pays for them. It's
Kudos, credit where
wonderful.
credit's due. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
wonderful. However, there's also a cutoff with Passport, though.
When does that end?
So they only get a certain amount of money a year. So I have one client who's very high functioning that comes in for programming 3 days a week, and he gets 5,000 a year.
Okay, so it is very limited then. Just they
It's
have to
very
stretch it.
limited. But then I have another client who is fully nonverbal, blah blah blah. He gets 40,000 a year.
Yeah, I have no idea how they do the calculation.
No, I don't either. It's a new world to me as well.
Yeah, but I guess it's obviously accommodates based on needs, obviously,
It does, very obviously,
which
yeah.
is good.
Yeah, yeah. But I just want to say to the PFWs that are watching this, there is a huge, ginormous need, and I will tell you, for respite care and private care for families that
Yeah.
have, loved ones with disabilities or autism, ages ranging from 0 all the way up. They do have funding for it. It's called the Family Managed Home Care Program, but where they can hire a private practice PSW in order to do this care. So if you're interested in being a private practice PSW, we have the membership on our website. It's tax deductible. You can pay monthly, but then it gets you out there on the directory. I need you guys on this directory because families are coming to us daily now seeking out private practice PSWs everywhere across Ontario. So
There are gaps. So some of you private practice are finding that I'm not getting any clients, and so you need to loop back with us. If you're not getting clients, and let us know because we got to do another ad. It's in some areas are overwhelmed. Ontario is strange when it comes to its
I know
market.
my area, they're overwhelmed, and I don't have enough in the Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge area. I don't have enough workers. I need
We
more.
have none out here, and in the region, it's like two. So
Yeah, I know. So it's like but then you go to like Toronto and they're everywhere.
they're everywhere. Did you want to talk about the other issue, or do you want to wait on it?
Sure, we can talk about that issue really quickly.
So one other thing, so just pivoting gears a little bit, we've had a complaint come in, and this is something that has actually been a pet peeve of everyone. I think there's a time and a place for everything kind of behavior, and I think the one that we've identified this week is our pet peeve of the week right now is uh, native languages being spoken in front of clients that they ain't understand it. Okay, so this is very understandable when you have individuals that are from the same background. You guys also, everyone speaks the same language. You're in a team and you're talking, and automatically you're going to speak your same language. However harmless you could be talking about coffee. It's extremely rude
Rude.
rude to do this. And I think we've gotten a few complaints from people like, how do I address this with my staff? My care team talks in their own language in front of me. You want to
So I'll give the example. Like I was on TikTok live, I think on Monday, and I had a hot pot under my ass because I was just going off about
Oh yeah,
this
you were talking
because
about right,
yeah,
right.
because so my first language is not English. My first language is actually Dutch. So I was raised speaking Dutch with my mom and my dad, and and then obviously English as well. And I got hired at Holland Christian Homes in Brampton, and the reason why I got hired there primarily was because I think I went to school with like everybody that went there because we all went to Christian schools when we were younger. But then also Dutch Christian schools, right? The CRC. And I got hired there because a lot of the residents went back to their native language, which was Nederland. It was Dutch, right? So, but I always made a point when I was on the floor, and there was, I think one other girl that spoke Dutch. If I had to speak to a resident to answer in Dutch, I was actively translating to my colleague who was there. I was telling her what I was saying. I would never stand in the room and I spoke English to my colleague who spoke Dutch. I did not speak Dutch because that is so freaking rude. And what we're hearing from, residents and other PSWs is, they go into the break room and they're all sitting around, they're all speaking their own language, and the other PSW doesn't understand a word of what they're saying, and it makes that person very uncomfortable, and it's extremely rude. And I get that everyone's really proud of your culture, but there's no room for culture or religion when you are doing healthcare. And I just
Well,
want to point that out.
yeah, no, absolutely. Like certain facilities do promote that, and that's fine. But I mean, when you're
To
talking
an
about
extent. To an extent.
no, no, like you have Islamic Catholic homes and those ones that are specific. But what I think the real issue is that if someone if someone doesn't understand what you're saying and you know that person doesn't understand what you're saying, maybe not do that. It really hurts your team atmosphere a lot, and it creates an environment where there's no way anyone can interact with that group of people speaking that same language. It's
And the
impossible.
residents and the poor
Oh
residents.
yeah,
Like
I don't.
that's what I get too.
Just
Like,
the residents. The
yeah,
PSWs. Yeah. If you, okay,
yeah,
if you're
like
in a break, I'm
the
gonna be honest.
residents was that?
If you're in a break room talking and they're talking in their own language, that doesn't bother me. It's when you're on the floor that bothers me because you're in someone else's residence. Sorry, continue.
Oh, and but I still don't like the break room thing because
I will
it
forgive me.
happened to me. It's rude. I didn't like it because I felt like they were talking about me.
Well,
And
yeah,
if there
that's
was, you know what I
assumption.
mean, which is the other thing, it's the assumption. I get about speaking different languages. Obviously, I speak it. I speak it with my mother. I'm not as good at it anymore because I haven't really spoken it every day of my life, but I can understand Dutch fluently. But at the same token, like when you're on the floor and you're working with your coworker and you both speak the same language other than English and you're doing care over top of your resident and you're talking in a different language, I don't care if that resident is cognitive or not. That is beyond rude.
It's
That
rude.
is beyond unprofessional. Unprofessional. And you should not be doing that. It's like if I were to move to Germany and I was in a German nursing home and people can say, oh, they speak English there all the time. Yeah, I know they do. However, I wouldn't be speaking English over top
No.
of the resident that is 91 years old who only knows German. It's rude. It's like talking, it's like you don't speak a different language, number one. Number two, or talking about your personal life while you're performing care on a resident. That's another freaking issue. But I mean, we could go on and on and on about, but
Yeah, no, but that
this
English
has
speaking.
become a problem.
We're going to have to do some sort of writing up on this because I think there needs to be some direction. It is extremely rude. We said rude about 40 times now. We've made our point. It's rude.
It's rude.
Sorry, it is. But at the end of the day, I mean, we have to make sure that this is alienating for the residents. Puts them on edge. They don't know what they're being told about. They're not part of their own community. That is really unfair to the resident. And I get it's easier to talk in your native language if that's the situation and your team is there. I get it. But
Also, too, and I agree with you, Ian. I mean, I totally understand
I
it as
get it too.
well.
If I was in another country and it was only English speakers, I would obviously speak English. It would be a hard thing to learn. I admit it would be hard.
English is not an easy language to learn. I
Learning another
understand that.
language isn't easy. It's and
No,
I'm
gosh, no.
impressed that they
No.
can. But we really
Exactly. And a lot of them speak like four or five different languages, which is astonishing and remarkable. However, it also, when you're speaking a different language to your coworkers and not all your coworkers speak it, what you're doing is segregating yourselves away from your other colleagues, which then creates divide in your care teams.
exactly. How are you supposed to
So
work together if you're not speaking the same language? You can't.
at the end of the day, let's be honest, guys, we're there to care for the residents and the clients and the patients. That is our job. That is our goal. That is why we are there.
Yeah. And
Okay, we're not there to make best friends. We're not
no.
there to, you know what I mean? Like, no, you're there to care for our province's most vulnerable.
Yeah. So I think we're making an appeal to all PSWs if you're in a home in Ontario, and unless the home is not language specific, please try to speak the language of the person in the bed, which is if it's English, make it English. It is extremely alienating for those individuals. It's scary. It's not a good scene. So I think we've established that.
We made our point. Yeah.
I think we've made
Yeah.
our point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, it's something we will be talking about more and more, just on an ongoing basis because, and we're not trying to bash the ones that do this at all. We
I don't think
understand why you do. However, you have to stop because this is an English speaking province, country. The majority of our elderly English, unless like Ian said, language specific. Like I worked at
yeah,
all
there's
Christian homes.
exceptions to the rule. Yeah.
You know, yeah, I had to speak Dutch to a lot of my residents, but you know, it's about respect and it's about understanding that there's, you know, that you're a professional
Amen.
and
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's what it
And
is.
and to all those individuals who've come to Canada and are learning English, amazing. But this will help, and we begging PSWs out there, just be mindful of this, please. It's not a law
Exactly.
thing. It's just we just ask it because we get a lot of complaints, and it's really hard for the association to navigate that when you're dealing with individual complaints on a daily basis. What do I do? I'm like, what are you supposed to say? I don't know.
No, we don't know. So we're
Don't
appealing. We're
know.
appealing to you guys at Mass just to stop it so it stops the complaints.
If
So
you're
we
having
really appreciate it.
and if you're having trouble learning English, just contact us. We can connect you with teams to help. There's lots of
Yeah.
opportunities out there.
Lots of opportunities, lots. So
Is there
this
anything
this was
else?
a great no, this was a great conversation today, Ian. I mean, we talked about a lot of things, probably a lot of things that are going to make people mad, but that's what we do here at PSW Podcast, and we talk about the truth. So if remember, guys, if you have anything that you want to add to this, put it down below on Facebook, or send us a DM on TikTok as well, because we're always here to listen, whether you agree with us or not. If you're not a member of the association, make sure you hop on that. All information is on the link here on our Facebook page or the link on our main profile on TikTok. Make sure you click that. The first thing you're going to see is become a member. You click there. It's all self-explanatory. We do have a live chat on our website where you can reach an ops with chat person. So make sure you guys get on that as well, because we have so many benefits. I think we're coming
Also,
out with one today, by the way, from Great Wolf Lodge for 25% off for OPSWA members.
exciting. Okay. And
Yeah.
just shout out everyone out there. Please have a look at the insurance, Moments of Truth insurance. It's excellent coverage. I had another injury this week with no coverage. We came in, so just please make an effort to protect yourself. It's you need to protect yourselves and your family. So look up
Low
Moments.
is $7 a month, ladies and
And join
gentlemen.
the ops. If you're not a member yet, please make sure you consider joining. It is important for you to have coverage, and we're trying to make our community as big as we can. So,
Amen. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Make sure to stay indoors as much as you possibly can in different sectors in Ontario due to the terrible wildfires in Northern Ontario. Stay safe. We're thinking of our Northern PSWs who have to drive through the thick of it in order to get to their clients. Make sure you stay safe and those in your care stay safe. This can really do a doozy on young children and adults, or young children and elderly, and of course, adults with asthma. So make sure you guys stay hydrated and stay safe up there. And see, I'm coughing because I got stuff here too. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed us with PSW podcast. We'll be back again next Friday with yet again another PSW podcast. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay awesome. Thank you for everything you do for Ontario healthcare. And with that, I'm going to say, OPSWA out.